Hello Baldurians and welcome back to the Sword Coast. I recently completed a full campaign of a full party of wizards. Yep, that's right, I respect everyone to a wizard. Throughout this campaign, I came to learn the most effective and destructive wizard spells. So let's not dawdle. Here are my top 10 wizard spells and how to use them effectively. Number 10, Cloud of Daggers. Cloud of Daggers is a level 2 conjuration spell which summons a swirling cloud of daggers. No surprise there, in a small circle that deals 4d4 slashing damage to enemies that are in the circle when it's cast, enter the circle, or start their turn while in the circle. As a level 2 spell, you unlock this at wizard level 3, and it costs a level 2 spell slot, obviously. It can be upcast, which allows it to do additional 2d4 damage per level slot. However, I personally never really upcast it this much. You get the spell pretty early on, which is great as it's a fantastic AoE spell and control spell that can decimate lower level enemies. The best way to use the spell is primarily as a control spell. Cast it in doorways and choke points to force enemies to either go through it and take damage, or go around it and give you an advantage in some other way. You can also do some really crafty stuff, like cast Grease, and then once the enemy has slipped, cast Cloud of Daggers over them. If they slip again, they'll stay stuck in the daggers and continue to take damage. I use this combo with a Void Bulb to deal great damage to Auntie Ethel in my wizard deck. It is a concentration spell, so don't try to cast another concentration spell while it's active. Thunder Wave. This is a fantastic evocation spell, and being level 1, you get this right off the bat. This is a cone blast that casts a thunderous wave doing 2d8 damage to enemies in its path. If they fail a constitution save, they get pushed back, which is super handy early game, since you don't really want enemies in your face as a wizard. Even if they do succeed the saving throw, they still take half the damage. Thunderwave can be upcast for an additional 1d8 damage per level, though I barely did upcast the spell. The real power of the spell isn't its thunder damage, it's the knockback. This can one-shot enemies by knocking them off cliffs or into pits. If you don't mind losing the loot, send them off to the abyss for a guaranteed death. Well, this is almost guaranteed. Straight off. Wait, what the fuck? It's also great for combos. Use Misty Step as a bonus action to blink behind the enemy near a cliff, then cast Thunder Wave and watch them fly. This came in clutch for me often early game, but it significantly lost its effectiveness in late game. Number 8, Animate Dead. I've got a soft spot for skeleton archers. This level 3 necromancy spell lets you raise an undead friend from a corpse. At level 5, you can summon a zombie or a skeleton archer. Zombies are melee attackers, and if they land a slam, they apply a crawling gnaw. And if the enemy dies under that effect, another friendly zombie spawns. I didn't really use zombies much in my playthrough. I preferred the skeleton archer. It attacks from range and deals additional necrotic damage. The range and the damage that the skeleton can produce really make them a good lifesaver early on. Once you unlock level 5 spells, you can use the level 5 spell slot to summon a ghoul or flying ghoul. The regular ghoul is melee while the flying one is ranged, or at least it's meant to be. They both have the exact same attacks and both have the exact same effects and almost identical stats except for health. The flying one obviously has wings, so it can fly around and is way more effective, while the basic ghouls felt a little bit redundant since the only thing they had was a little bit more health. A ghoul's normal attack can paralyze the enemies, which is fantastic if it lands. If your wizard's a necromancer, at level 6 you get the Undead Thralls bonus. So instead of summoning 1 every time you use the spell, you can summon 2 instead. The downside is you need unburnt corpses. They're not always accessible, and long resting can cause the bodies to disappear. So you want to make sure that you're using this every time you can if you don't have them already. Number 7, Create Water. You're probably going to laugh, but I did sleep on this spell for way too long. It's a simple spell that you can only use once per short rest. Shows how strong it is. All it does is make it rain in an area, making everyone wet for 3 turns. Get your mind out of the gutter. On its own, harmless, but paired with other spells, deadly. The wet condition makes targets immune to burning and fire resistance, but vulnerable to cold and lightning damage, which means that they take double damage. So simply open with Create Water, then follow it with lightning or cold spells, and the damage output will be insane. Number 6, Fireball. You're probably wondering why this isn't higher up the list. It's Fireball. Fireball is a level 3 spell that does 8d6 damage in a big AoE. It's consistent, it's flexible, and it's deadly. You will use this spell a lot and it's fantastic for general use. The only reason I didn't rank this any higher is because it's not really combo friendly as compared to some of the other spells in this list. Number 5, Magic Missile. This spell is truly magic. Another wizard staple and probably your go-to for most fights, especially early on. At level 1, this evocation spell fires 3 darts of 1d4 plus 1 force damage each. You can target different enemies or the same one, and when upcast it fires more darts up to the level that you've upcast it to. The magic thing about this missile, is it never misses. If you're in range, it hits. I use this all the time to break concentration, and I found it super handy for just dealing consistent damage. It really shined in my playthrough when I built it with my tab Spell Sparkler as a combo. When you use the Spell Sparkler and you do damage with magic spells, you get lightning stacks, and those lightning stacks do additional lightning damage when you hit them with spells. The great thing about Magic Missile is you're hitting them with 3 concurrent spells, each one doing their own stack of lightning damage. You see what I'm putting down? You combine this with the Reverberation build, and you upcast the spell, and you're going to be dishing out some serious damage. Number 4, Lightning Bolt. Casting lightning is always satisfying. This level 3 spell deals 8d6 lightning damage in a straight line, with an extra 1d6 per upcast level. The same deal as Fireball, half damage on a save. Now it's a bit more limited than Fireball as it only casts in a line, but with good positioning or a cheeky Misty Step, you can hit tons of enemies quite easily. Now you pair this with Create Water and the results are devastating. Number 3, Ice Storm. I love Ice Storm. For the same reason I love Lightning Bolt. Combo potential with Create Water. But Ice Storm has way more utility. It's a level 4 evocation spell that you get at level 7 as a wizard. It deals 2d8 bludgeoning damage plus 4d6 cold damage in a massive area. Upcasting adds an additional 1d8 bludgeoning damage per level. If enemies are wet, the cold damage is doubled. But the real kicker is the icy terrain. It turns the area into difficult terrain and can cause the enemy to slip if they fail a dex save, which they do all the time. Enemies will often slip before taking their turn or doing any damage to you and lose their turn entirely. I usually open the fights with this spell. Big AoE, lots of control and damage. One of my favorites. Number 2, Globe of Invulnerability. This one actually surprised me. This is a level 6 abjuration spell you get as a wizard at level 12. No multi-classing if you want it. It creates a 3-meter radius dome. Anyone inside it takes no damage at all. You know what the best thing about this is? Your wizard can still cast spells out of it, making you an untouchable artillery cannon. Now imagine this with 4 wizards all crammed inside one globe. Oh my god. Combine the spell with the Illithid Power Mind Sanctuary and Black Hole, and you become unstoppable. You cast Mind Sanctuary inside the globe, giving you the ability to cast bonus actions as actions, doubling your output. Throw in free casts and items of Arcane Battery gear, and you can dominate the battlefield with even more globes or level 6 spells. Truly devastating. If enemies are smart enough to try and get into the dome, use Black Hole to suck them back out again. Slow them, and then line them up for your next big attack. I used this combination against Raphael, and I made him look like a joke. And number 1, Summon Elemental. Once I had this spell, I used it every single long rest, and it's simply amazing. This level 5 conjuration spell lets you summon an elemental of fire, water, air, or earth. Each has its strengths. They can be summoned up to 60 feet and have 90 to 124 HP, depending on the elemental. They can teleport with elemental warp, and most of them can fly. They're mobile, tanky, they have multi-attacks, AoE, and elemental debuffs. At level 12, you can use a level 6 spell slot to summon Myrmidons. Pretty much big brothers of the elementals. They hit harder, have unique support spells, they can still fly and teleport. You really can't go wrong with them, and they pretty much double down the amount of damage output your entire party can do. Now that you guys have made it this far in the video, I think you deserve a bonus spell. Curriculum of Strategy, Artistry of War. This spell is epic, one of my favorite spells in the game. It's a level 5 spell, but only castable once per long rest. You get it by scribing the scroll Artistry of War from the Red Knight's final stratagem in the Vault of Sorcerer's Sundries. It summons apparitions of 6 master strategists. Basically a mega magic missile. Each blast does 2d6 plus 6 force damage and always hits. That's right, 48 to 108 guaranteed damage. You pair that with lightning charge and, well, you get the message. This spell is absolutely epic, and like I said, it's one of my favorite spells, but the only reason I put this as a bonus spell is you can only really use it once, and it doesn't really have much utility out of just doing heaps of damage. But, you know, it's a fun spell to cast. Thank you for making it through the video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, and you found this content helpful, hit the subscribe button. I'll keep making more Baldur's Gate 3 content. Let me know what your favorite spells are in the comment section, and what kind of combinations you like. I'd love to hear them and try them out on my next playthroughs. If you're new here, I'm the Jury, and I'm playing through Baldur's Gate multiple times with full parties of the same class, just to see how strong each one of them are, and, you know, just to have a little bit of fun. You can watch the full playthrough of my all-wizard playthrough here, and you can see the recaps, or if you want to watch the full playthrough in full 75 hours of arcane chaos, you can watch that here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.